With Mag Air, this is one I would avoid. I would not buy this. This is too underpowered for me, right? It is the cheapest one we're going to see here, the 579. I don't even consider this really a hunting crossbow because it's only 305 feet per second. You can get it done. You can get it done.
Okay, so I'm editing this video and I want to make something clear. The video is about what Excalibur I would choose in 2025. And I am a crossbow purist. I put crossbows first and foremost over all the other forms of hunting weapons, whether it is the lesser forms of archery like compound bows, all that sort of thing, or whether it's rifles. That stuff doesn't mean as much to me as crossbows do. Because of that, I appreciate and prefer modern crossbow technology, things that move crossbow hunting even further. Crossbows that make crossbow hunting even better. This crossbow is a little bit lightweight in terms of its energy, right? Now, it's not lost on me the fact that I've been hunting with Bunjie now for 16 seasons, and even this year, I killed a bear with that crossbow, with a crossbow that has the same specs as this one. I get that. So certainly it can be done. Certainly a crossbow like this has its place.
And it is light. And for certain people, that's probably going to be appropriate. It is a rope cocker. But the problem with this guy, and you can put a crank on it too, but the problem with this guy really is that it is 305 feet per second with a 350 grain arrow. That's Bunjie speeds out of the box.
And I like the black, right? I like the black. And I like the fact that it's really light. So it might be a good crossbow for younger hunters who don't want to carry something heavy, where you're walking a long distance, where you need maneuverability, that sort of thing. It does have a lot of pluses. The problem with a crossbow like this one is you are going to have to limit your shots in terms of distance. You're going to have to limit your shots a little bit more than you would with a modern crossbow in terms of the broadheads that you use as well. Or you've got to go with the super heavy arrow.
You know, if this will handle it, you can put that heavier arrow on there and get it up into that 0.7 slugs of momentum category. I wouldn't hunt with it without that, but now you've limited your shots. Like, I don't feel comfortable shooting that at deer past 20 yards. Bunjie. Like, I'm not going to do that.
You do what I did with Bunjie and you put a 635 grain arrow in there. You've slowed this crossbow down to 249 feet per second or something. And yeah, you've got enough energy now to call yourself a modern crossbow hunter with those speeds. You're hunting with an arrow that will get about 0.7 slugs of momentum, maybe a little bit more. That'll work, right? That'll get that 3-inch swahacker through a bear. It'll get the job done. But now you're down to 15, 20 yard shots. That's the problem. And it makes it less valuable for deer if that's what your target animal is. For me, the target animal being deer and bears and wild boars and, you know, other stuff too. But basically the modern crossbow shooting 0.7 slugs of momentum or better and around 400 feet per second lets me take those shots out to 30 yards, maybe a little bit further, without having to worry about animals ducking the string. That's such a great thing, especially when you've hunted with a 16-year-old crossbow like that over that period of time and had numerous animals duck the string on you, right? It's so much better to not have to worry about that. And that's why when I pick my Excalibur, I'm taking that into account. And when you're picking out a new crossbow, I think you should take that into account. You know, learn a little bit from my mistakes, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. But I want to make it clear, if you have one of these crossbows and you like it, good for you. I would rather see people hunting with a crossbow than not. And if this is the crossbow you've chosen, just like any other crossbow, make the best out of that crossbow. Get to know its limitations. Embrace those limitations. Become the best crossbow hunter you can with that crossbow and really get to know it. That's one thing I've talked about here this month on Crossbow Appreciation Month. It takes a lot of time to really understand, to really know your crossbow and the value of that, the benefit of understanding that one gun. I can't overstate that. It's so important. When I go in the woods with Bunjie, I know what it can do and what it can't do. I know before I get there, I'm going to have trouble getting the camera to film around those wide limbs, but I've got things in my head, fixes in my head on how to make that happen. I'll talk about this more in future episodes, but some things have happened here on Death by Bunjie that have sort of changed the way that I look at certain things. Look at this crossbow. This is the Enforcer, right? I love this crossbow. It's a modern crossbow, even though it's a few years old, it's still shooting, the bottom end of the modern speeds, and I can, shoot deer up 30, 32 yards without them really ducking or anything like that. But look at this scope. It's not the scope that I'm using, right? I was a scope snob using only the Burris Oracle X. And here you have not just a regular speed ring scope, but a Killer Instinct speed ring scope. Not even the scope I like. Like, this is the original scope that came with this crossbow, so I stuck it on here to, it came with one of my SWATs. I have a bunch of these crossbows. I've been playing around with these during Crossbow Appreciation Month, these speed ring scopes, and it reminded me of the value of how simple these are to set up. Like, I can sight this in 3 or 4 shots. That's amazing that you can be ready to hunt in 3 or 4 shots, really. I mean, I take a lot more shots to get comfortable with it and make sure that I'm good with it. There are limitations with a scope like this, no doubt, but there's also advantages in terms of that ease of setting it up. Like, the Hawk Zoom FFP really showed me that when I set that up on the Ravin. I had so much trouble shooting that Ravin over and over to get the Oracle X set up on there. But when you put that Zoom FFP on there from Hawk, did a video about that, check that out. And I've also got links for that scope if you want to buy one of those scopes. I would appreciate you trying one of my affiliate links or something like that, right? Unfortunately, they don't make one of those Zoom FFP scopes for a crossbow that's this slow for the SWATs, because this thing's shooting 350 to 375, somewhere in that range, depending on my arrow weight. These little guys weighing about 500 grains, I don't know. But that scope set up on there so easily that I'm like, yeah, there's an advantage to that. There really is, right? It has its limitations. It's not going to give you the precision accuracy that a Burris Oracle X will out to 150 yards or something. Not everybody wants that. That sort of taught me something. And going forward, I'm going to be a little bit more open-minded in terms of the technology. I have my preferences, and this video is about my preferences. Bottom line, don't take any of this as me bashing any of these other models. I'm not going to be taking that sort of a mindset going forward, because it's not encouraging us as crossbow hunters. I want to encourage crossbow hunting. I do want to encourage manufacturers to up their game a little bit and continue to make better products. We all have that obligation, I believe, when it comes to being crossbow consumers. We really got to be honest with the companies and tell them what we don't like and what we do like, so that they make stuff that we do like. The bottom line, if you have one of these crossbows, you can get the job done. Make it your one gun, embrace it, and do a really good job with that crossbow.
Death by